We've made it all the way down to the end of Module 2 now. This has been the module about creating workbooks. This is Section 5, and I want to talk to you in this particular section about working with ranges. You're going to do a lot of different things with ranges. And a range is basically a group of adjacent cells that you might want to change the color in. It could be that you want to make them all dollars. It could be that you want to use ranges in your formulas. Let me go ahead and flip over to Excel, and I'm going to show you how ranges work. Let me show you what a range looks like if you had it selected. This right here would be a range. It is a group of adjacent cells. You can do a lot of different things with a range. It could be that all of the numbers I have selected here, I'd like to maybe make these dollars, for example. It could be I'd like to center them. It could be I want to cut and move them somewhere else. There's a zillion different things you can do with a range. You'll notice that if you have a range and you hit the Enter key, you stay in the range. The white cell is just your active cell. You can also use the Tab key to go to the right instead of going up and down. What you want to avoid if you're trying to work with a range is don't use the arrow keys on your keyboard, because notice it deselects the range, or if you just happen to click your mouse somewhere, that would deselect your range as well. Let me show you how to select a range. You're going to find the starting cell. Put your mouse right in the middle of it. You want to make sure you have that white cross, and hold your mouse down and click and drag. Just make sure you let up at the ending cell. Now sometimes when you do that, especially if you have a lot of cells you're trying to select, you might be holding the mouse down and accidentally go way down the page or way up the page, and it may not get you exactly what you want. So here's another way to select a range. Click in the cell you'd like to start with, hold the Shift key on your keyboard, and click inside the cell you'd like to end with. That's a good way to always get exactly what you want. Now when you start writing formulas, you're going to have to use these ranges. If you saw this one written as an example, this would be cell B2 through C4. So it would look like this. It would say B2, colon, and then C4. That's the range you would be working with in this particular case. You'd be maybe adding these up, for example. Let me go back and select that same range real quick. What if I asked you to quickly tell me what these numbers add up to be? You might be able to quickly add this in your head, but here's what I want to show you. When you start working with formulas and using ranges in formulas, you're going to have a word in front of this B2 colon C4 to tell it what to do, because right now it knows the range, but it doesn't know what to do with the range. If you have a range selected, and remember that can even be two cells as long as they're adjacent to each other. If you look down the bottom of your screen, it tells me the sum equals 1035. I don't know if you can see that down there or not. But that's an example of a function or a word that we're going to use in our formulas later to tell it what to do. If I wanted to right click on this word sum here, you're going to see there are 6 what they consider to be the most common, and I could click on any of these to turn them on or off. So if I frequently wanted to see any of them, I could have them show up down here at the bottom just as a quick look. Now notice if I deselect, you don't see that down there at all. Well, that's going to go ahead and wrap up our section on working with ranges. Let's go ahead now and move over into Module 3, because we need to talk about saving this work. We've done a lot to it and I'd hate to lose it. So let's go ahead and go over to Module 3 and talk about saving.